Hey guys, it's Ben. Welcome to the channel. This is part 2 of my review for Zack Snyder's Justice League. Just to give you guys a quick update, I am still doing a couple giveaways. If you guys want to watch some of the previous videos, I'll leave the links in the description. If you guys are interested in my new giveaway, I am giving away the Man of Steel Blu-ray edition. It's not 4K, but it is the original Blu-ray edition for the Man of Steel, with the updated Steelbook cover from Jim Lee. I talked about it briefly in one of my older videos. This is the one that I am giving away. If you guys want to take a look right here, this is the back of the cover for the Steelbook. It is black and white, so it goes really well with the newly released black and white version, Justice is Great, of Zack Snyder's Justice League. If you guys haven't taken a look at it yet, I strongly suggest you to give it a watch. I am currently watching it my 5th time right now. I am watching the Justice is Gray version. So let's just get right into part 2 of Justice League, where it's titled Age of Heroes. So right off the bat, we get into Aquaman saving this random sailor in the middle of the ocean. For those of you guys who watched the theatrical cut, it was in the original briefly. I think it was just a different song that they chose. I have no problems with the scene. The only thing I would say is once he puts the guy on the table and leaves with the drink, I will say I did have a problem with him just ripping off his shirt, throwing it into the sea, and smashing his glass bottle. Unless they're biodegradable, I mean, I'm surprised that he even did any of that stuff. I mean, the fish are gonna get caught up in his shirt. I mean, doesn't bode well for a better environment. I am interested to know what Jason Momoa's character actually thinks about that whole segment. I mean, maybe the clothes that he wears is biodegradable. Who knows? My other takeaway from part 2 is when they're drawing up a sketch of a parademon from one of the survivors. It kind of looks similar to a bat, but obviously it's not a bat. They try to make it seem like it's a Batman who's taking all these people or whatnot. They probably could have done better with drawing the parademon, but it's just a little nitpick here and there. Like I said, I am in my 5th viewing now, so I am critiquing it more, breaking it down more. Still a wonderful movie. So I want to talk briefly about the continuity issues that Zack Snyder's Justice League now brings. As you guys are well aware, the studio went away from Zack Snyder's vision, and so they put out the theatrical cut, and then they put out, Aquaman, Wonder Woman 84, as well as, I believe, Shazam. With that being said, I want to talk briefly about those little issues here and there. They're not big issues. They're also not issues at all if you guys haven't seen the other movies. So if you haven't seen Aquaman, this really isn't a big issue. Same thing if you guys haven't seen the theatrical cut either, not a big issue. As well as if you guys haven't seen Wonder Woman 84, not a big issue. I just want to talk about those issues briefly. One being, Mera does have a new accent. It was something I noticed right off the bat from her first underwater scene with one of the soldiers that are, protecting the mother box of Atlantis. She has it briefly there. I know a lot of people have been talking on the internet that she didn't have an accent the whole entire movie, and she had it in the nightmare sequence, which, I would have to disagree with that. She does have it throughout the whole movie. Perhaps, some viewers weren't, paying attention. Perhaps, a lot of people had, a problem with that because she does have a more of an Americanized voice. She doesn't have an accent in real life, so people were caught off with that. Especially in Aquaman, she has her normal voice. I guess it works in that movie, but now coming back to Zack Snyder's Justice League, I don't know where they're gonna go with her in Aquaman 2. I actually really dig it. It works well for the character. The Atlanteans are of royalty. Especially her character is of royal blood. She comes from her own kingdom and that whatnot. But she does mention to Arthur early on that she knew his mother and she took her in when her parents died in one of the wars, which is it's kind of weird because in Aquaman, her dad is well alive. Her mom passed away. Or maybe, they don't really specify in Aquaman if that's her real dad or not, or if it was just an adoptive father. So it could still work either way. But like I said, it's not a big issue. The underwater scenes were really, really well done. I remember, with the reshoots, you can definitely tell what happened in the theatrical cut, where the CGI was just, not on par with what it is now. And that's because they put in, an extra $70 million to, complete this version of the film. Whereas the original reshoots, I think, was only like 10 to 20 million, and they rushed it out the door. What's interesting to note is in the theatrical version of the film, it's Mera who actually gives Arthur his armor and trident, but in here you have Volko, who is the one who actually gives Arthur his trident and his armor, which also flows better. So it looks like they just cut out Volko's character in the theatrical cut and just put Mera in to do that dialogue with him, and she's the one who brings him the trident and stuff like that. Which didn't make sense. The other continuity issue is of Arthur actually making it to Atlantis, some place in Atlantis where they're holding the mother box. In Aquaman, they actually say that he's never been to Atlantis. So take it with what you will. It doesn't make Zack Snyder's Justice League any less of a film. It's just now they have some damage control of, are they going to go with his vision continuing forward? Or are they not? There's so many things that are going on behind the scenes that we don't know, that we're not privy to. So hopefully, there'll be a little bit more shuffling after this. We're just trying to promote Zack Snyder's Justice League as best as we can. If you guys haven't watched it yet, I encourage you to strongly do so. Zack has put out his own little Vero update about watching Zack Snyder's Justice League, and if the numbers are crushing it for HBOMax, AT&T, who owns, HBOMax and Warner Media and all that stuff, they will put out more content, regarding Zack Snyder's Justice League. I know we had those ongoing things with the CEO of WB who said she doesn't want to continue Zack Snyder's Justice League. However, it might not be up to her because she also reports to someone else who actually is in charge of the company, and hopefully we'll like to see more of these things being done, whether it's on the big screen or, as a TV show. I am hearing things of Henry Cavill is interested in doing Superman on, HBOMax streaming, which honestly it's probably not that bad of an idea because he can do, 8 to 10 episodes, similar to what he's doing for The Witcher, which will lock him in, Superman long term. So there's a lot of different things that are going on with, WB. Maybe I'll make a video about that too later, but just going off, with stuff with the WB, they aren't commenting solely on Ray Fisher's comments about, the injustices that happened on the set of the reshoots for Justice League. They've just said that remedial action was taken. They never specified what that action was. Perhaps, one of those actions where they didn't put Jeff Johns' name on Zack Snyder's Justice League. The only mention of his name is actually in the credits where it says special thanks, and his name is in there. So I'm not sure how much he was involved in, in putting Zack Snyder's Justice League out, but I am not a fan of his anymore, solely on from all the dialogue that that Ray Fisher has spoken about. It's interesting to note that Warner Brothers CEO Ann Chernoff has mentioned that they don't want to continue Zack Snyder's vision. They want to move away from it because they have other characters to talk about. They have a different multiverse, which I honestly don't understand if she understands what a multiverse is, because in a multiverse you can have a whole bunch of different iterations, different Earths at the same time. So yeah, you can definitely have your own Superman. You can have Black Superman. It's really endless of what they can possibly do, whether it's on the big screen or the HBO streaming service, which looks like, that's the way of the future right now for streaming services anyway. It's I'm interested to see how well Zack Snyder's Justice League does and how they rate that. I know Variety put out a little puff editorial piece um, about Zack Snyder's Justice League being behind Wonder Woman 84, which is funny because the way they're rating it is Wonder Woman 84 came out over Christmas, whereas Zack Snyder's Justice League came out on a random Thursday where people were working. So, don't know why they're trying, not to give Zack Snyder his roses, his dues, his credit for bringing such a success. This is probably their biggest success on the HBOMax streaming service right now, and from Warner Brothers over the last few years. So, my only thing that I can think of, Ray Fisher talked about it in his interview with the Faruqi brothers a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday. He did mention that it's probably more or less because they know they messed up and they just don't want to admit to it. However, I think they would gain a lot more fans by just, admitting to the wrongs that they've done, ways of how they're trying to correct it, and just bringing a whole bunch of, diversity into it. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with, steps, after this. All right, enough about that. Let me go back into my review. So, speaking more about Mara's accent, it's interesting to note that her dialogue is the same, almost, in terms of when she's talking to Arthur underwater. The only difference is, obviously the accent and stuff. So I'm assuming that they redubbed the lines once Zack left the project. So that's probably why we have her normal voice in the theatrical version. But I'm really digging her accent in this. I thought she, it was really well done. It wasn't over the top. I know some people are complaining online that it didn't fit well with her. But if you go into the movie, not seeing the theatrical cut, not seeing Aquaman, it's not a big deal. Really, overall, good job, with the material that she was given. One thing I want to note actually is, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, they talk about how the parademons are actually created. It is very similar to what happened in David Ayer's Suicide Squad, the original. I don't know if you guys know about David Ayer's Suicide Squad cut as well. Originally, those zombie-looking things were actually parademons in his original cut, which hopefully, maybe we'll see someday, who knows. But I will say that they did describe how the parademons are made in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Once Darkseid takes over the planets, it's actually their life form is consumed and you're left with a shell of them, and that's how technically they're made. They did a better explanation in the movie. If you guys want to rewatch it, go ahead. Might have to watch it a sixth time to get the, every word for word. The one thing I want to know that they didn't dive into the movie at all was they mentioned it in part 2, Steppenwolf betraying Darkseid. I am very interested to see how he betrayed him. I've been reading a little bit up on some of the backstory about Steppenwolf and all that. Don't know if it's the same way they're going with it. They didn't talk about it. They just said that he betrayed him somehow. So that was one thing they never talked about. I'm very interested to know about it. Another interesting facet of the movie is the war that they're describing with Darkseid early on with the Atlanteans, the Lanterns, the Amazons, and the Men of Earth. I wonder if this actual war is the same war that was referenced in the first Wonder Woman, which Hippolyta was speaking of. They waged a big war, and it's one of the reasons why she doesn't fight anymore. It's also interesting to note if this is also the reason why Darkseid doesn't know where the not the mother boxes, but where the anti-life equation is, because it was actually on Themyscira, also formerly known as Paradise Island, which actually I didn't realize that it can be moved to different locations, and maybe that is why Diana never actually goes back. Also, fun fact is, once a man enters Themyscira, it is no longer the women that are immortal anymore. So that's also an interesting fact. Is also why they probably died in part 1, where they got shot by the Germans. So this this is all crazy news to me. This is all new backstory that I've, encountered. I've researched all this cool stuff now. I don't know, also, if you guys don't know, Jack Kirby designs Darkseid, who's also designed other characters for Marvel as well. So for all of those guys out there who don't know, Darkseid came before Thanos. That is why Thanos has some kind of similar characteristics to him. Another fun fact, Darkseid's brother is called Drax, which Drax the Destroyer is in Marvel, who also appeared 3 to 4 years after DC's iteration of Drax. So those are 2 fun facts for you for today. So I did speak briefly in my part 1 about certain rumors, certain similarities between DC and Marvel. I know there was a big rumor going on that prior to Justice League coming out originally back in 2017, 2018, that Jeff Johns had actually, leaked it out to Marvel, had leaked it out to Kevin Feige, and seeing this film puts that more into perspective on those issues. Firstly, when Ares goes and stabs, Darkseid on the side right here, it was very eerily similar to when Thor stabs Thanos with the axe and he misses his head. So that was like one instance of where I was just like, oh, okay, so these are very similar characteristics, and Marvel fans looking at, Zack Snyder's Justice League might say, hey, they copied us. But if you guys remember correctly, Zack Snyder's Justice League, the original, should have came out back in 2017. So that's one interesting, facet to take away. The other thing is the multiverse. The third thing would be when Zack has mentioned that he's trying to push Adam, Ryan Choi's character, being big in the Asian community and wanting to do something in China. And now Marvel is doing Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings. So there's a lot of stuff that Zack has envisioned and has pushed out. I don't know if you guys have heard Henry Lennox, the guy who plays Martian Manhunter, who is General Swanstick. He also has mentioned about Zack Snyder being ahead of the curve, as you will, including all these, diversified, actors and actresses from many backgrounds. And when he puts them into the film, it doesn't seem forced. Right off the bat in the beginning of the film, you see the one Amazon Word, she's a person of color who was cut out from the original as well. You have Ryan Choi, you have Victor's mother, Dr. Stone. So there's a lot of characters and person of color that were actually cut out from this film, which is very unfortunate. And maybe that is why, Warner Brothers is so hesitant on fulfilling Zack Snyder's vision, onto continuing his vision, because they know they messed up and they don't know how to, right that ship other than saying, hey, we're putting out a new Batman movie. Hey, we're putting out this new Flash movie. Hey, we're putting out this, So every single time it seems like that Ray Fisher says something, the studio also puts something out. So it's very interesting to see what's going on with that. I know a lot of the actors have been very silent, and I don't know if that's because they have their own, NDAs that they can't disclose certain things, or if their agents or the studio has mentioned to them, hey, don't talk about this, or you're going to lose some pay. Who knows? Only the actors know, only the actresses know why they're not saying, why they're not speaking up, why they're not, why they're not protecting Ray as well. Which leads me to believe that Ray has kind of been fired because he's just saying whatever he wants to say now. I know certain things he hasn't said because he's not at liberty to say, which probably he has his own legal team looking into as well. That's why he's only giving us parts of the story of what happened on those reshoots. So yeah. So my other funny thing to take away from part 2 is of when the men of Earth got their mother box and they were burying it into the ground. I have no idea why they decided to only bury it like 3 feet deep. Like when you die, they bury you 6 feet deep in case of a flood, so you're not, floating above water. But it's interesting to note why, they took the mother box, and obviously someone's going to find that mother box, in the future, which they do. It's just funny to me that they decided, hey, we're going to bury this mother box 3 feet deep, which could also speak to, just, the people of men being not as smart or intellectual as, the Amazons or the Atlanteans, because the Atlanteans, hid theirs underwater, and the Amazons hid theirs on the Themyscira. So that is one thing. And then the second thing is also when Victor actually is hiding his mother box of men, he goes and digs up his grave, but he doesn't dig it all the way up to his casket or anything. He digs it up another 2 to 3 feet. So I don't know if that was just laziness, or if, I don't know if you guys ever dug a hole before, but it is time consuming. So maybe they just didn't want to dig a big enough hole. Who knows? They could also just use the crane and everything, but that's neither here nor there. So for my rating of part 2, I would give it I don't want to be bashful, I don't want to be, I'm just, blinded by it. But, I don't have that many negative things to say about part 2 as well, similar to part 1 that I've had. There was like just that brief scene that they probably could have, omitted. Same thing in here, where there's a brief scene that they probably could have omitted. So I would still give this, part 2 a 9 out of 10. It's still very well done. Everything flows greatly. I really enjoy the way that Zack broke up the movie in parts. I know originally, it was going to be in 4 parts, 4-hour-long blocks. But at the same time, I wanted it all at one time. So I like the way he does it. It doesn't seem like it's very long of a movie, very long of a TV show. So you can just break it into parts. That's how I've been rewatching it. I haven't given it, 4 hours continuously yet. I've seen, the first 3 hours, and then I had to, put on pause for the last 30, 40 minutes of the movie. So, it's not a hard task, not a daunting task. So if you guys have, 30 minutes, an hour, to kill, watch the first, first quarter of the movie, watch the first half of the movie, and then start the second half of the movie. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what was your biggest takeaways from part 2. What are any theories that you guys have? What were your likes and dislikes? If you guys like my video, please, guys, give me a thumbs up. I want to do some of these giveaways. There's still time to enter the first 2 giveaways. I haven't started that because I haven't reached my threshold yet. If you guys want to, receive the Man of Steel one, please like the video. I need this video to get up to 500 likes. And that is all. I just need 500 likes, and 1 lucky subscriber will get this. And I need 25 subscribers still on the channel, guys. I'm only at 11. So I haven't even started the first giveaway yet because I haven't gotten my subscriber count on. Here's a look at the Man of Steel if you guys are interested in this. It's a beautiful cover. It's the Blu-ray edition. It's not 4K, unfortunately, but it is the Blu-ray of the Man of Steel. That is the front of the cover. The back of the cover is black and white. So it actually bodes well with Zack Snyder's Justice League being in black and white for his Justice's Gray version. So this is my copy. This would be the copy that I will be giving away. As you see, still in the package. It still has its stickers from Best Buy. And that's the back of it. It's just a little paper pamphlet on it. So once you open it up, this is what it looks like on the back. If you guys, are a fan of Steelbooks, these are the ones that I've had that goes with, it goes in my collection. This is my ultimate favorite Steelbook cover right there. It's the Batman, and the back of it is Superman, so that's beautifully done. And if you guys have seen The Death of Superman right there, it's also Steelbook. Also, it's on HBOMax, so if you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty good. Before I forget, I just want to say for everyone to continue watching Zack Snyder's Justice League. He did put a post out on Vero to keep watching it. Don't cancel your subscriptions. If you guys are big DC fans, they have a whole bunch of content now on HBOMax. It is worth maybe the $15, per se. It's a little on the high end, But if you guys want to, just keep it on for the next, month or two to see where those numbers go. Hopefully, this will bring out maybe Justice League 2. Maybe we'll get finally a Cyborg solo. I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get a Superman sequel. Even though technically this is the end of Zack Snyder's trilogy, unless he does a Justice League 2. It finally, concluded Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and now his Justice League. I know a lot of people wanted a Man of Steel 2. However, I already feel like this is the third movie that Superman's in, though briefly. That is technically the third of his movie arc. So if they don't continue with the Man of Steel 2, they can just, call it another Superman movie. They don't have to call it Man of Steel 2. They can call it, Superman, whatever, and just go on from there. So I really want, this movie to do well. This is the first time in a long time I'm very hyped for a movie, for a project. I was actually pretty hyped prior to the original coming out, and then I was, really duped, really disappointed in what they put out in the theatrical cut. So this is why I am giving this, the time of day that it needs, all the love that it deserves, all the people that were wronged, who were cut out, all the people of color. I don't talk a lot about it, but I am, person of color, as you guys can tell. So this really hits home with certain things, with all these people being omitted. People shouldn't be omitted just because, the color of their skin, the way they talk. So, this is why I feel very strongly for this project. I want to see it do well. I want to see them continue it on. I'm very interested in them continuing on Cyborg's character. I'm very interested in doing Adam's character, which was Ryan Choi. So I also am very interested to see, John Stewart. He's actually my favorite Green Lantern, and very disappointed that, the studio still, even though they let Zack Snyder finish his vision, they let him finish, certain things, but they still came out and said that he couldn't do his Green Lantern scene, even though he filmed that scene already. So technically speaking, there is still a Snyder Cut out there that we haven't seen. There's still at least 2 scenes that have been cut from the movie, or at least one of them was his own doing. I know there was an additional Joker scene that we didn't get to see in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the promo images of when he was filming with, Jared Leto. There was the one scene where Batman looks like he's in a hallway going to, to see Joker. So that was one instance where we didn't get, and then the Green Lantern, who I still am interested to know who Zack's casted. He hasn't mentioned the actor's name. However, I don't know if that's because HBOMax or Warner Brothers wants to make their own announcement like he said, or if that's going to be the same actor they've gotten that they just haven't said. But, I would definitely love to see him in the Green Lantern Corps show that's coming out on HBO Max. I really wish they would focus on him and Hal as opposed to some of the other side characters. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 3 of my review for Zack Snyder's Justice League.